We all already have learned about the compound propositions, which uses the logical operators. So what exactly these logical operators are and what are their symbols? For the definition, let us consider logical connectors. We join with propositions. In this part, we shall deal with logical operators. Okay? So it includes negation, yun yung not, conjunction, ito naman yung pag pinagsama mo yung dalawang simple and you use the and. Disjunction, ito naman yung or. And finally, the conditional and biconditional. So ito yung if then. And yung biconditional naman, pag pinagbaligtad, yung if then, okay, so if and only if siya. In this discussion and in the next lesson, each of the logical operators will be defined with the aid of a truth table and truth values. So later, we will be having an example of that table and values. So we have the logical operators. Given a proposition, its truth value or truth table show all its possible truth values. So this is how we write a truth table. So on top, we will write the letter corresponding from a proposition. Okay, so proposition P, below that, we can say that it is either true or false. So that is always the case. We have the proposition or the letter at the top and we have the two values, either true or false. For the logical operators, so truth values can also be used to display various combinations of the truth values of two propositions, P and Q. So what if dalawa na? Yung kanina, di ba, example natin, isang proposition lang siya, either true or false lang. How about pag pinagsama natin yung dalawang proposition, P and Q, so the rows of the table will correspond to each truth value combination of P and Q. So there will be 2 squared is equal to 4 rows. The truth table for propositions and are as follows. Okay, so what does this truth table mean? So we have P, proposition P, and proposition Q. So for the first row, we have both P and Q is true. Okay, so for the next row, we have P is true, Q is false. Next row, we have P is false, then Q is true. And lastly, for the last row, we have both P and Q is false. So that is always the case. Again, right, for writing two propositions, P, Q, para mas madali. Okay, so true, true, false, false. And then for the Q, we have alternate true, false, true, false. Okay. Now, suppose we have three propositions already. Okay, so ilang rows kaya yung magagawa natin for the possible combinations of their truth values? So our truth table will be consist of 2 raised to the third power is equal to 8 rows. So it will be consist of 8 rows na. We have PQR. Okay. We have 8 rows. For the first row, all of the propositions PQR are true. Then for the next row, yung dalawang proposition lang yung true, then yung R yung false. And then for the next, Q lang yung false. Next. Dalawa na yung false, Q and R. Next. P naman yung false, Q and R yung true. F. For the next row, we have both P and R is false, then Q is true. Next, P and Q is false, R is true. Then last row is all of them are false. So, kung mapapansin natin, walang mauulit na combination dyan. Okay? So, for every row, iba-iba yung kanilang truth value or yung kanilang combination. So, tips in writing a truth table. So, lalatag muna natin yung mga proposition. And then, hahatiin natin itong sagot dito. So, sa nakuha tong 3, so, lagi yung 2 raised to n. Depende. Yung n, depende kung ilang proposition. So, since we have 3 proposition, that's why we have 2 raised to 3. Okay, so that means 2 times 2 times 2, that is equal to 8. So that's why we have 8 rows here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so since we have 8 rows, let us divide it into 2. We have 4, diba? Pag dinivide natin sa 2. So, for the first column, kay P muna tayo. We will write 4T, 4 true. Okay, so dinivide ko lang sa dalawa yung 8 na sagot. And then, 4 din na false. Okay, so for Q naman, divide again sa 2, no? Kalahati. That is 2 naman. Di ba kanina 4, ngayon 2. So we have true, true, false, false. Alternate na, tigda dalawa. True, true, false, false. For the last column, lagi yang alternate na true, false. True, false, true, false. True, false. True, and then false. So that's it. We already made a truth table for the 3 propositions. Okay? So yung kanina, so we have P and Q lang, no? We have 2 raised to 2, kaya 2 raised to 2 lang, 2 propositions. Ang answer niya ay 4. Dinivide natin sa 2 yung 4, that's why dalawa lang nagsalitan na true and false. So we have true, true, false, false, and then the last column, alternate true, false, true, false. So on and so forth. Okay, so now we have negation. The negation of a proposition P is denoted by not P, which is read as not P. Okay, and it is defined through its truth table. So we'll see proposition P. We have, di ba, either true or false yan. Okay, so not P naman, kabaligtaran. So not P. So for the first row, we have P is true. Then yung not P, since not nga siya, negate or the opposite, we have the false. And then on the other hand, we have the false. If P is false, then not P is true. Okay, so let's have an example. We state the negation of each of the following propositions. We have proposition N sub 1. Quality determines the price. Okay, so not, gawin nating not n sub 1. No? So, pwede nating answer dito, quality does not determine the price. Or it is not true that quality determines the price, or quality does not determine the price. So, depende basta ma-negate natin or mabaligtad natin yung gusto niyang i-state or yung meaning ng ating sentence. Okay. So our example number 2, we have n sub 2. So not n sub 2. Ano kaya yung not n sub 2? The tinikling is the most difficult dance. Pwede natin sabihin, the tinikling is not the most difficult dance for not n sub 2. Okay. So, binabaliktad lang natin yung kahulugan niya. Or ninanat natin. No? For n sub 5, we have a curve is the shortest distance between 2 points. Well, lagyan lang natin ng not. Napakadali. Not for this symbol, not n sub 5. A curve is not the shortest distance between 2 points. Next, conjunction defined. We have P and Q. No? Pag conjunction, it is and. So we will now define two propositions. So this is the symbol for the and. It's read as P and Q. So for the truth table, no, we have two propositions. Ginagamit siya sa dalawang proposition. So marunong na kayong maggawa nitong P and Q na to. So, for column P and Q. Okay. So for the column P and Q, conjunction na ni P and Q. So paano natin malalaman itong mga truth table na to? Okay, so titingin tayo sa P at saka sa Q. So let's see for the first scenario. So P and Q, no? So true and true. So pag kinonjunct natin, so true and true, that will be also true. Okay? So pag true, false, false. Pag false, true, that is false. Pag false, false, that is also false. So kung mapapansin natin, kapag P and Q pala, no? Pag may nakita tayong F, no? Kahit sino sa kanilang dalawa, basta may makita tayong false, either kay P and Q, either sa dalawang proposition, so ang conjunction nila is already false. So para siya maging true, dapat parehas true. Okay? So next, for our example, so we have two propositions here, proposition P and Q. So proposition P states that angels exist and pi is greater than 3 for proposition Q. So let us have the conjunction of these. Yan. So pinagsama lang ng and. So P and Q, angels exist and pi is greater than 3. So itong symbol pala na to, ito ang ibig sabihin kapag kinonvert or tinranslate sa sentence. So next, ano naman P and not Q. Okay? So ninegate natin yung Q. So ano ba yung not Q? Not Q. That is pi is not greater than 3. So paano natin ilalagay as mathematical sentence? So dapat less than or equal to 3 siya. So hindi siya greater than. So that is less than or equal. Okay, so we have P and not Q. Paisamahin lang natin. Angels exist and pi is less than or equal to 3, or angels exist yet pi is less than or equal to 3. So how about we convert the given sentence into symbol naman. So angels do not exist and pi is less than or equal to 3. So angels do not exist. Meron na ba tayong nakita dito? So ang nakalagay natin is angels exist. So inegate natin yung P para maging not siya. Also, given tayo ng and. So and pi is less than or equal to 3. So ito ba yon? So hindi po yan yon. Kabaligtaran ng proposition Q. So that's why not Q. Okay, so that is not P and not Q in symbol. So while angels do not exist, pi is greater than 3. So nakita na ba natin to? So this again a not P or negate yung proposition P. Tapos itong while na to, okay, so para siyang and, still a conjunction. So pi greater than 3 is proposition Q. Next example, we have our S and T. Okay, so you can use this as an for your practice. Express the conjunction in verbal sentences or in symbols. So let's have this. So we have 3 propositions na, no? So we have, there is a profit in physical exercise and it is best to exercise holiness. So ano-anong proposition yung involved? There is a profit, that is R, proposition R. Tapos meron tayong and. So yan, symbol. Tapos it is best to exercise holiness. So nasan yon? This is the proposition S. So the answer is R and S. Okay, so that's basically it. Negate R and T. Okay, so depende sa given na sentence. So for our number 3, kabaligtaran naman, i-rewrite natin into sentence. R and not T. So asan ba yung R? So rewrite natin yung proposition R. Tapos and not T, kabaligtaran nitong proposition T. It is not true that a person must be holistically fit. For our disjunction naman, on the other hand, is denoted by P, tapos parang small letter V. So P or Q. So ito naman ay or. Kapag yung nakabaligtad na V, that is and. Kapag yung V, that is or. P or Q. So para lang din siyang conjunction, pero ang gagamitin natin ay or na, hindi na and. So for the truth table naman nito, kung kanina basta may nakita tayong false, 'di ba? Yung P and Q. So ang truth, yung column niya is true, false, false, false. Kasi pag may nakita tayo F either sa kanilang dalawa, that is considered as false na. So dito naman kay conjunction, kay or, kapag may nakita tayong true, Okay, so that is true already. So, magfo-false lang siya if parehas na false si P and Q or yung dalawang proposition. The disjunction P or Q is false only when both disjuncts P and Q are false. Let's have an example. So we'll be expressing this into sentence or in symbols. Okay, P or Q, asan ba si proposition P tsaka Q? Okay, pagsasamahin natin tong dalawang sentence na to using or na. Kasi tong symbol na to ay again or. So our answer will be Victor has a date with Lisa or Janry is sleeping. So this is easy, right? So we have Q or not R. So babaliktad natin tong R and we will just copy the sentence Q or proposition Q. So our answer, next we have the symbols. We will rewrite it to sentence. P or Q or R. So that is either Victor has a date with Lisa or John Lee is sleeping or Yumer is eating. Okay, so we just combined three sentences using or. So we can see two ors here in the sentence, and in symbol we have two conjuncts. Last, convert this into symbol. Victor has a date with Lisa, that is proposition P. Janry is sleeping, that is proposition Q. Or Yumer is eating, that is proposition R. So mapapansin natin, yung comma, siya yung naghihiwalay sa dalawang conjuncts or dalawang sentence. So, ito ang magkasama P or Q. So, yan. Or, again, R. Okay. So, kung mapansin natin yung kanina, di ba? Dapat dito yung, so, wala dapat itong comma na to. Okay. So, for our example number 5, we have merong and na connector and also or. So that's why we have these symbols. P and Q or R. Example number 6. Try to answer. P or Q and R. Example number 7. That is P and Q or P and R. So this is P and Q, P and Q, or, sorry, this and, or this is P or P and R. So we have a note. It will be shown later that P or Q or R and P or Q or R. Okay, ang nagkapalit lang is yung parentheses are logically equivalent statements. So we can write P or Q or R likewise. It will also be shown that P and Q and R and P and R and Q and R are logically equivalent. So we can write P and Q and R, or we can simply omit or remove the parentheses. Okay? So parehas lang yon, kahit i-group natin yung dalawa lang muna. Okay. So now, we have a problem here. Suppose P, Q, and R are propositions defined above. We have three propositions. Consider the scenario that one Friday night, Victor and John Ree are studying for their logic exam. Meanwhile, Yumir just tweeted a picture of himself eating crispy pata and sisig. So now what is the truth value of the proposition, not P or Q and R? So solution. So from the given scenario, let us identify first if the proposition P and Q and R are false or true. Okay, so it follows that P and Q are false. So why? Paano natin nasabi na P and Q are false? Because sabi dito, di ba, Victor has a date with Liza, but Victor and John Ray are studying for their logic exam. So hindi na pwede na magka-date si Victor and si Liza. So that is false. Also, si John Ray hindi siya natutulog kasi nga is studying with Victor. So that is also false. So can we say that humor is eating? Okay, so he just tweeted a picture of himself eating crispy pata and sisig. That's why we can say that proposition R is true. So P is false, Q is false, R is true. So we will identify the truth value of not P and Q and R. Not P or Q and R pala. Okay. So let's see. So we have P is false, Q is false, R is true. So lalatag lang natin yung mga truth value. Okay. So first, not P. So babaliktarin natin yung P which is false. Okay. So that's why that is true. Baliktarin natin yung Q and R. Okay. So Q and R, paano ba natin masasabi if false or true? Okay, pag may nakita tayong false, either kay Q or si R, that is already considered as false. So, asan ba yon? False true eh. So, may nakita na agad tayo false. So, that's why Q and R is false. Okay, pagsamahin natin, inor niya tong dalawa. So, not P, tapos or Q and R. Ibig sabihin, i-or mo si true at saka si false. So, true or false, di ba? Pag or naman, or logical operator na conjunction, kapag nakita natin may true, that is considered as true. So, our final answer is true. Okay, so not P, this statement is considered as true. So, not P or Q and R is a true statement. Another logical operator is conditional. So paano naman pag conditional? Simply P implies Q, or if P then Q. That is, we have the hypothesis and conclusion statement. So in symbol, ito po yon. P tapos may nakaturong arrow kay Q. So P yung hypothesis, Q yung conclusion. If P, then Q. Or P implies Q. Okay, so paano naman yung logical table or truth table niya? We have P implies Q. So kailan natin malalaman pag false? So kapag true false lang, no? Pag true yung hypothesis mo, true si P or yung unang proposition, tapos false yung conclusion, no? Basta true yung hypothesis tapos false yung conclusion, that is considered as false. So otherwise, the statement is true. Pag true yung P, true yung Q, that is already true. Pag false yung conclusion or yung P, pag true yung Q, then that is considered as a true statement. And lastly, pag both false, still considered as true statement. Pag false si conclusion, false din si hypothesis, false din si conclusion. So that is a true statement. Let's have an example. Suppose that GB is a grade 11 student. Consider the following conditionals. If GB is in grade 11, then she is a senior high school student. P sub 2 proposition. If GB is grade 11, then she is working as lawyer. P sub 3. If GB has a degree in computer science, then she believes in true love. So analyze natin yung mga conditionals na to. So lahat yan, kung mapapansin natin, is naka if and then statement or they are called conditionals. So sabi, may statement tayo sa taas given GB is a grade 11 student. Okay? So that is considered as true na agad. So since that is given, okay? So given na if GB is in grade 11, then she is a senior high school student. So itong buong to, kailan natin masasabi na true ba siya or false? So let's see. If GB is in grade 11, so GB is in grade 11, so that is a true statement. She is a senior high school student. Is it a true statement? Yes, it is true. Pag grade 11 and grade 12, they are called senior high school students. Okay, so see, if or yung hypothesis mo is true, then yung conclusion mo ay true, then we can say that P sub 1 is considered as a true statement. Next, if GB is in grade 11, again, this is a true statement. Then she is working as a lawyer. Can she work as a lawyer? So no, that is a false statement since nasa senior high pa lang siya or nasa grade 11 pa lang, hindi siya pwedeng maging lawyer agad. So this is true false na. True implies false pag true yung hypothesis, false yung conclusion, then false na yung kalalabasan ng buong proposition mo. Okay? So proposition P sub 3, if Gibby has a degree in computer science, then she believes in true love. Okay, so nasabi natin na yung unang statement ay false. Okay. So ito, masabi ba natin na she believes in true love, pwedeng false or true? Okay, so either mag-false or true naman yan, so wala tayong pakialam. Basta false si conclusion or si hypothesis, false si hypothesis. So wala na tayong pakialam kung false or true yung conclusion. So true na agad si conditional statement mo. Okay? So kung mapapansin natin sa truth table, okay? So kapag basta mag-false yung unang statement, no? Yung hypothesis, so parehas siyang true. So either mag-false or true si conclusion natin. All right? Now, this is the solution or the answer for the previous problem. Okay, so last logical operator natin is the biconditional statement or biconditional. Okay, so paano naman pag biconditional? If and only if nga siya, no? Nabanggit ko na rin kanina. Ganito ang symbol niya. Parehas may arrow. Okay, nakaturo kay P at saka Q. So we have proposition P, proposition Q. P if only if and only if Q. So paano naman yung truth value niya? Kailan siya magto-true, kailan siya magfo-false? Okay? So maraming nalilito dito by conditional. Kapag parehas yung value niya ng dalawang proposition, that is considered as true. Pag magkaiba, true false or false true, that is considered false. Kasi nga if and only if, dapat parehas sila na ng truth value. Okay? Bago sila maging false, maging true. Okay? Let us have another example. Suppose again, Gibby is in grade 11 student. Okay, let's have P sub 1, a biconditional statement. Gibby is in grade 11 if and only if she is a senior high school student. So this is true, this is true. Okay? So dapat parehas, no, yung dalawang statement. Ang naghiwalay sa kanya is if and only if. So that is, we can say that this proposition P sub 1, yung buong yan, is true. Okay, so another, Gibby is in grade 11 if and only if she is working as a lawyer. So alam na natin sagot, true to, tapos false yan. Then we can say that this proposition P sub 2 is false. Next, if Gibby has a degree in computer science, then she believes in true love. So that must be Gibby has a degree in computer science if and only if she believes in true love. Okay, so magkaiba na agad sila, no? So this is false. So hindi natin masasabi dahil hindi natin alam if she truly believes in true love. Okay? Kasi kapag hindi siya, that is not the case. If this is false, then true yung ating kabuang proposition. But if this is false, If this is true, then magkaiba sila ng truth value. So this must be false. Okay. This is the explanation. All right. So that's the end of our lesson for this week about the proposition and the logical operators. Thank you, everyone.